Well, thank you very much. It is truly great to be here, and it's great to be here because I think we've got some great opportunity. I know you guys already talked about some of that. You're going to talk about some more of it, but I appreciate the Chamber for hosting this event because I think that manufacturing is a given for Montana. We've got some of the key elements that we need in this state, and I'm going to talk about those in a bit. I was, we kind of changed the speech around a little bit. I was going to talk about all my wonderful accomplishments in Washington, D.C. over the last 7 years. And I was going to talk about that small business workshops, held about 14 of them. The last one was on manufacturing. I was talking about co-sponsoring a bill on startups to make them eligible for capital. I was going to talk about passing legislation that provided tax credits to businesses who hire veterans, which can help in manufacturing. I was going to talk about working with the Blackstone Foundation to bring its Launchpad program to our university system and partner up with them to support entrepreneurs moving out. And even though I think all these policies really do help manufacturing in the state of Montana, I want to talk about some other stuff that I think is very, very important that Montana can take advantage of. But it's going to require some attention. It's not going to happen by accident. I'm going to start with energy. You know, the Bakken play is doing really, really well, and we're blessed to have that. But we need to not only develop that and our conventional energy resources that we have, we need to also continue to work on alternative energy, renewable energy, and all of the above policies. I think is critically important because I think it'll bring more certainty to the energy market and affordability to the energy market. And I think both of those things are one of the reasons why we're going to see a resurgence in manufacturing coming back to this state and back to this country that left this country for other countries a while back. And I can tell you that coal and oil and natural gas, they're going to be here for a while. That's a given. We've got to figure out how to do it right, but the fact is they're going to be here for a while. They create thousands of good-paying jobs across the state. It's a good thing. But the truth is we ought not take our eye off other opportunities that are out there that will create more energy for us to consume and create more jobs. Will help diversify our energy portfolio, whether we're talking about solar or biomass or wind or hydro, whatever this may be. And we need to do that at the federal level by tax incentives and reducing red tape. I think it's really important. The second thing I want to talk about is infrastructure. Montana's a vast state, 500 miles in width, and I think if businesses are going to succeed in Montana, I think it is a given that they have to be able to get their products to market. It was about 20 years ago now, I went up into Saskatchewan to pick up some seed. And I took my truck up there, my big truck, and we crossed the port up there of Raymond and whipped up into Saskatchewan. And I remember going down the highways and my head was literally bouncing off the ceiling of my truck going down the highways. And so we looked at the map and we moved over a couple sections and we got on a gravel road, which was much better. And I made it up to the place where I sourced the seed. I have not been up to Saskatchewan since, but the fact is that can happen here. We need to make an investment. We have made investments in our roads and our bridges and in our railroads. That has to continue, and I think that's why the folks back in D.C. That you've elected to serve you must support a long-term highway bill, one that ensures that the trust fund remains solvent. Right now, the Federal Highway Administration will run out of money by September if we do not act. This bill, this long-term highway bill, creates jobs and helps businesses access their customers. It is so critically important, and it's not going to happen by wishing. It's going to happen by some proactive action by us. And then, since we're in Bozeman, Montana State University, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about education. Although we've got great units around the state, correct? Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind that people always talk about our most valuable resource in this state. What would that be? Our kids, right? we have to make an investment in those kids. We have to make an investment in our workforce. And it's interesting because Montana starts more businesses than any other state per capita. The Kauffman Foundation ranks Montana as one of the most entrepreneurial states in the country, something we don't really think about much. But we must make sure that there is a workforce there that meets our businesses' needs. It is critically important if we're going to attract more businesses and allow businesses to grow that are already here. Just the other day, yesterday it was, I met with a Montana surveying business in another town that has a different university in it. And they were trying to hire, it was a surveying company, it was trying to hire 7 surveyors this spring. The economy's starting to pick up, they're starting to bring some folks back. They couldn't find any graduates in the state of Montana. They had to go out of state to get them. I bring that up because it's only 7 jobs, but these are 7 good paying jobs. And quite frankly, if that one surveying company wasn't finding folks, there's probably others too. And it's just an example of other things. We could talk about medical providers, we could talk about all sorts of things out there. But the fact is, I believe, and I will continue to believe, that public education is the foundation not only to our economy, but also to our democracy. It is not free. We must make those investments if we are going to reap those dividends. Businesses looking to start up here or relocate here in Montana, think about it. I know there's a lot of businesses here. You're not going to move your family to a place where the K-12 education system is subpar. It's a given. It's not going to happen. You will not do that. So we've got to have a strong K-12 education system so that the folks who are going to work for manufacturers in this state, throughout this country, can send their kids to strong schools. And statistics that you folks already know, today's students will likely have 5 careers in their lifetime. 3 of them haven't even been invented yet. So we must support K-12. We must support our 2-year colleges and universities so they can adapt quickly to a changing economy and adequately prepare students for the high demanding jobs of tomorrow. And quite frankly, make sure that it's accessible and affordable. Kids that come out of school with $50,000 in debt are probably not going to stay in Montana. They're going to go somewhere where they can make even more money because they got that debt to pay off. So affordability and accessibility are critically important. By making investments in education and infrastructure and energy development, by working together, I think we can leave the next generation of this state with an economy that they're proud of. Ben Bernanke, the former chairman of the Fed, who recently left that position, I met with him and asked him some questions about what kept him up at night and what he's concerned about. I assumed the first thing out of his lips would be the national debt and deficit, and make no mistake about it, that's a big issue we have to deal with. But the first thing out of his mouth was the health of the economy that we have in this country. And his point was this, and it made sense to me. His point was that if we leave a third world economy to our kids, they will have a third world standard of life, and they will never be able to pay off the debt. So we need to keep that in mind when we're moving forward. We're talking about manufacturing, we're talking about moving the state forward, we're talking about moving the country forward, to make sure that we've got the foundation underpinnings to make that real. Because Montana's entrepreneurial spirit comes from our ancestors who came out here 100 plus years ago to start new lives, and they found the land of Montana a land full of opportunity, and they rolled up their sleeves and they went to work and they built communities and they built a way of life. And that spirit remains strong with us today. It is a driving force for the folks at Sims, at Mystery Ranch, 2 of the many manufacturers that are succeeding here in Big Sky State. And I think it is my job to make sure that we stay in touch with these businesses and so that all Montana businesses can move forward with job creation and strengthen the economy. And while we protect our state's interest, it means supporting the conditions that allow folks to best use resources and ingenuity to improve our communities and our quality of life. In recent decades, too many jobs, manufacturing jobs particularly, once the backbone of our economy was shipped overseas. But now we're seeing them start to shift back, and many of those jobs are coming home. We need to do what we can do to encourage those jobs to come home. I'm a little bit biased, but I think Montana is the perfect place for those jobs to land. We have a vibrant banking community that supports our businesses. We have tribal colleges. We have two-year college, such as Gallatin here, and Great Falls too. And the Montana University system that is, I believe, one of the best in the country that not only trains our workforce of today, but the next crop of entrepreneurs that are coming into the marketplace. We have the outdoors, our great outdoors, to attract workers and entrepreneurs looking for a place to set up shop and enrich their quality of life. And remember that Montana's outdoor economy, if Casey didn't tell you this earlier today, is $6 billion. $6 billion industry, huge. And we've got the raw materials to make nearly every product imaginable. We need, this is a huge understatement, we need to work together in Washington, D.C. to push policies that support manufacturers and responsible use of resources across the board to build our economy and create jobs. We'll continue to reduce red tape that strangles innovation and strangles innovation, quite frankly, without any benefit to the state or small businesses. And work to increase manufacturers' access to capital, which is so critically important so that they can grow their business and expand their business and be all they can be. Why? Because Montana's best resource, and we've got a lot of really good ones, but it's our people. So let's work together to keep Montana as the best and brightest here, make sure that our home is to an educated, well-trained workforce ready for the jobs that are going to be cropping up tomorrow. Our state has much to offer to this nation and to the world, and I look forward to working with the folks in this room, the innovators, to make sure their state's economy can deliver more jobs, manufacturing jobs, from the companies here and that will come to this state. So this is such a timely issue, because I can't tell you how much I think that this state is set to reap the benefits and the rewards of a vibrant manufacturing economy. With that, thank you very much, Webb. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I don't know if, and by the way, this is kind of fun because my staff's back there, and I really didn't look at my schedule to know when I'm supposed to be out of here. So, if you got any questions, look, I'd be more than happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Speak up.
That's good. And if I can't answer them, I'm going to direct them to Webb. Maybe that'll bring some hands up. Look, I just want to say thank you very, very much. Stay in touch. We've got offices around the state. I really do think that there are certain things in Washington, D.C. that are common sense that need to pass. One of them is a highway bill. One of them is make sure that highway trust fund's solvent. I say that because every day I drive out of my farm and go down to a highway that's 1.5 miles from my farm. My neighbors didn't build that. This country built that. And that kind of access to getting your products to market is so very, very important. And education, energy would go down the list. Thank you all very much.
Now they got questions. Never fails, does it? Thank you, Senator. We appreciate very much the time and ability to spend with us and your thoughts and comments as well.